done doing a quick edge retention check on my 610 Rukus because last night I reprofiled the edge to about 15 degrees per side with a micro bevel. And I wasn't really doing a super strict edge retention test. This was more an edge durability test to see whether or not this knife could stand up to medium to somewhat hard wood cutting. I wasn't doing slamming cuts into knots. I wasn't jamming it into a cut and prying the wood apart. It was just relatively thin, light curls to fairly heavy slices of wood coming off. This was pine. It was about 300 cuts. And I have to say, once again, this S30V in this Rukus did better than I would have expected to. This is still turning out to be possibly the single best example of S30V I've ever had. Granted, it is still at 15 degrees per side, which for this sort of cutting is actually a little bit high. Most people don't think that. You know, the current knife industry has really kind of engendered people to thinking that 15 degrees per side is kind of the floor of edge angles that you can use, and that if you go anywhere below that, your edge will just collapse and destroy itself and be non-existent. And that's not really true. So now that I've gotten pretty much zero edge damage and almost no edge wear, yes, my legs are that white, just it's still slapping hair off like nothing. Probably going to dump this down to about 10 degrees per side at some point, probably later today or tomorrow, and revisit this test this weekend. But yeah, this knife is still doing well. Just as a slight update for ergonomics, once again, this is sort of similar to the Adamas with this knife. I think they took the ergonomics and they made them decent to okay ergonomics when they could have made them really, really solid. These choils are a bit too deep, and I think these humps could definitely be rounded out more, and this handle could obviously be more contoured. I definitely have pretty much cemented that in my mind right now with this cutting, that it's certainly not a bad handle, but there are small things that could be done definitely to make it better. Clip oddly wasn't super huge of an issue this time, but again, that could change. I genuinely like this clip from a retention standpoint, but I will admit it's not the best for comfort generally. And but yeah, still becoming a really solid performer. Still turning out to be, you know, the grail I wanted this knife to be. I'm really glad I was finally able to get this Rukus. So anyway, guys, just a quick update. Let me know if you have any questions.